guys, Mr. Theorist here with another reaction video to another superhero film. This one is the X-Men Apocalypse film, and we're going to kind of give our views and kind of reactions to it. So we'll jump right in. Yeah, I want to hear your views first.
Right, I thought it was absolutely amazingly average.
Oh.
Yeah, basically I felt it was a good film. I thought it was an excellent X-Men film, good superhero movie, good action movie, but I felt it was a very average movie. I have nothing really bad to say about it, but I have nothing really amazingly good to say about it. It was just a very serviceable film. What I felt was it kind of like, it was kind of like a setup. You had your good guys gathering together as the film went on. You had the bad guy introduction, who was distinctively, he's a bad guy. There was no like greys or kind of like real deep characterization of him. He was just a very average bad guy. Big, huge, big, evil bad guy. And he gathered up his team. The good guys, they were gathering their team, and like the majority of the film was just them getting together, like the characters meeting up, gathering up. And then it all built up to a big fight, smacky, 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 the end. So I thought it was a good film, but it was a very average film. That was my first thought. I mean, I enjoyed it. I didn't find it boring, but there was nothing there that really jumped out at me as like a very distinctive moment or characterization moment. I mean, like...
You're basically saying, like, to me, it's almost like, yeah, I get what you mean with it being very average, because especially the fact of the timing it's come out after Civil War as well.
Yeah, well, no, you don't compare...
I'm not really comparing, I'm just saying, like... You almost feel like superhero movies now need to have a new level to them rather than just teaming up, fight, hooray, we win. Yeah. You feel there has to be something more to it. And
I feel, I mean, before we watched the film, we did notice there's a lot of bad reviews or mixed reviews, and I think that wasn't because of this film, but because of what films came before. Because of Civil War, because of Batman vs Superman being almost like the two ends of a really good movie and... the opinion is a bad movie, and this was very much the middle movie. Yeah. Now, if it didn't have those movies to compare to, people would probably have a lot more higher praise for it. Yeah. One thing that I feel was it was I say almost by the numbers. It felt like it was just them gathering together, and also they had to have like little ticks they had to have. Like Quicksilver had his scene in the second movie, so they had to put it in this, but make it a bit bigger. You know, and just some of the characters just felt, well, very lacking in what they did with them. The bad guys, they were just cronies and just there. I mean, the Angel, they had to have Angel, a version of Angel in it, because he is famously in the comics one of the Four Horsemen. Because during a period of comics when not much changed as far as characters go, they changed from the Angel character to the Archangel, which is what happens that's what Apocalypse changed him to, is that it was a major character change, and there would have been hell. Now the people said, why is an Archangel in this film? So they had to have Archangel. Problem is, Angel was already used as a future version, so they just had to have generic angel person in this movie who's not even named.
Yeah, you don't even get much of a character from him, do you? You sort of just get like, oh yeah, he's forced to fight by Russians or whatever, and then...
He is a minion. He's a minion. Yeah. He is one of Apocalypse's minions. All four of the minions, well, apart from obviously Magneto.
Yeah, Magneto was the only sort of fleshed out one of the four, wasn't he?
Well, because he was already an established character.
Yeah.
Storm, yes, was established, but she was still... I mean, that's the problem, is they wrote themselves into a corner with this film. This is one of the reasons why it comes across quite average, is that even though they've kind of rewritten, you know where they're going to take the
they're kind of like,
characters.
they're building it up to, oh look, we're now in line, sort of, with the original three films.
Well, you knew what the arc of each character was going to be. You knew that by the end of the movie, Storm was one of the bad guys that she would eventually turn to become, join the team. Archangel, you didn't know, but then again, you didn't even care.
Yeah.
Psylocke, that was one thing I have to say. Psylocke was like the most comic perfect character since Colossus in Deadpool. As like, you saw one image of that, anybody who knows the character say, yes, that is Psylocke. As where before, in most X-Men movies, it's like, is that character? Is it that character? You're never quite sure. That's the one thing I did like about this film, is that like when they first started doing the X-Men films, they didn't like the idea of costumes. They even made a joke about it, like Wolverine saying, "What do you expect me to wear, yellow spandex?" But as the films have gotten on, they've become a little bit more comic book.
Yeah.
And the problem I feel is that this film is very much written as a comic book, almost like not necessarily dumbed down, but not as complex as some of the elements some of the earlier films have. That's why, again, another reason why I think it's an average movie.
Yeah, there was nothing. There was nothing apart from Apocalypse Rising, grabbing his henchman, good guys have to beat him thing. There was nothing else to it.
Yeah, but it means it was a serviceable movie.
Yeah, I don't think there was any. I don't feel there was anything wrong with it.
No,
I will admit,
I
I squeed with the.
Yeah, if you're a fan, you will squee at seeing oh, it's Psylocke, and obviously spoilers. A certain Mr. Schnickety shows up for his little cameo, which was decent. Although the one thing, he looks old.
Oh yeah, we're going about Logan.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
Weapon X. Ah no, not Logan. Weapon X. That's what they call him in this film. He is Weapon X. He is there. Weapon X coming out with his helmet, all the wires and things coming off him with his metal, his adamantine claws. Yes, this is Weapon X that they've got in this film.
Yes.
Which is yeah. Awesome.
Is that how they're going to get away when people are like, but you said Logan's only in one more film? Yes, Logan. It's only in one more film.
It's this. You knew he was going to be in this film, and even the trailer.
They can't help it. They can't help but put Wolverine in an
it's
X-Men
saying
film.
that now that Logan, Hugh Jackman will only do one more X-Men related movie, which will be Old Man Logan.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's my first initial opinion. Okay, right. What did you?
I loved it personally. Thinking about it, yes. Now I'm thinking about it. I do feel it's very average, and there was nothing made. Like, there's no issues. I have no issues with the film per se. But yeah, there's nothing that super jumps out at me apart from squeeing about Jean Grey's big power up at the end.
Yeah.
And then like having Weapon X do his thing. It's like. They're just, they're things that just like, at the moment went, yay! But then you're just like, well, that's happened now. What's the next thing you're going to be doing?
It's like it was an average movie and they deliberately did, well, let's do things like, when they had Phoenix in the original trilogy, they kind of watered it down, kind of was Phoenix, kind of wasn't. And in this film, it is the motherfucking Phoenix.
Yes, it is.
It is there.
It really
full
is.
Flamed up. Looking all powerful, and basically the most powerful character in the actual film. But that's one thing that I felt was slightly detrimental, is that when you have a hero versus a villain story, you want the hero to basically take on villain. Jean Grey, there was no build up for her.
Yeah.
There was no like storyline build up for her to take on Apocalypse.
Yeah, it was just
what I felt they were going to do if they'd done this, I would have gone, oh really? Is that Phoenix would have been Phoenix versus Apocalypse in the final battle. But you had no build up. But luckily they didn't go that way. I mean, yeah, she became like their power card, which they played right at the end, but it came with all of them fighting against Apocalypse. I mean, it felt like it was. I mean, the fights as they developed, it was a kid playing with their action figures, with it's fighting this one, and this one's fighting this one, and this one, and then takes that one out, and they take that one out, and then they team up and take on the big villain. And yeah, it's very much a comic book movie, which
I don't think there's too much you can really.
The way, if I was to compare this to the Marvel movies, this was, I would say, Thor: The Dark World.
Yes.
Yes. Because Thor: The Dark World, it's a serviceable, decent.
Yeah, it was just an in-between film, wasn't it? It was just like, here's Thor's film, enjoy, next.
So as far so that's kind of like our general premise of the entire movie. Let's talk about characters, what we felt about the characters that they brought into the film. Villain, what did you think of the villain?
Apocalypse,
Apart from what I've already said, is that I personally found him to be, yes, a big uber villain, but lacking any kind of real character.
Yeah. From what I know of Apocalypse, is he's a big, scary, ancient mutant that comes in and goes, I want to take over, slaps you all down, haha, I'm the strongest. Yeah, that's kind of all he was. There was nothing really to him.
Unlike, say, the villains of the first two, of the second trilogy, they had purpose, they had character. You know, they were driven by reason. He's just, I'm a villain.
I've done this again. I've done this all the time.
I'm a god. I'm going to take over the world.
Yeah, I've done it before. Do it again. Whatever.
Again, it's just so comic book. So comic book. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. But it does kind of like, as I say, makes it more average. A very average villain in a very average film. Yeah?
Yeah. As I say, there was some cool, fun bits, and I'm actually not finding too much to really say about it because I enjoyed it.
Let's see if I can back. The one thing I did like is that all the way through the movie, this was almost like a tie-up from all the films, because every single film got reference to from the Magneto's as a child in the first film. That is brought up. His relationship with Professor X from First Class, elements of that gets brought into it. The one thing they didn't touch was Mystique's character in the first three. No, that's totally forgotten about because she's Katniss now, pure and simple. Because so the movie did suffer somewhat because they've got Katniss in the movie. They've got to play with Katniss, not the Mystique character, which is what she was. Yeah, like how she was done in the first films.
It was. I don't want to sound like I'm saying it's a bad film. It's just.
No, it's not. No,
I enjoyed it. I left the film going, yes, this was good. But at the same time, it's like, I try to think of stuff to talk about it. And it's like, it was good.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that really jumps out about it.
It was all, I'd say, it ties in, it kind of rewrote little elements from Wolverine Origin by having Wolverine in there. It had little nods to that as well, because you might have noticed there was a fight scene, the cage fight scene between Angel against the Blob.
Yes, that was
the Blob.
Yes.
Because the Blob was a fighter from Wolverine Origin, so it's like it's saying, yes, Wolverine Origin didn't happen, but the strands are there of those characters, which I thought was nice touches. Yeah, it nicely woven in different elements from all the previous 6 movies.
One of the funniest jokes the film makes, though, is when they just finished watching Return of the Jedi, and they turn around and goes, "Oh, that film was really good. Yeah, but it can't be as good as the first, because that's what set us all up.
Yes,
the second one's always the best. Yeah, but we almost admit third one's never the greatest,
and that was kind of like them having a go at X-Men The Last Stand.
Yes.
Which, in an ironic meta way, is that what they're not aware is they've actually taken the mickey out of their own film. Because this is the worst of the three.
Yeah.
Of the three new class under the McAvoy era of films. So I almost feel like that the creators actually put themselves in, because as they're making them going, yeah, this film ain't great, so let's take a dig at ourselves a little bit, maybe, or it was just taking a joke on The Last Stand.
I definitely feel this is going to be the last in the First Class line, personally.
Well, no.
I feel like they've tied everything nicely together.
It does feel like they've tied it all together, but they've got a whole new young cast of actors who can just do. The problem is that this is what I can see what is going to happen. Is you're now going to have more X-Men movies come out, and you're going to have the rule of diminished return, is that the next one's going to be good, but not as good as this one. The one after that is going to be not as good, but not as good as that middle one, and then it's just going to go deteriorate. Because yes, there's not much you can more do with the characters you've got.
Yeah, it's like they've done the big villain, and they've done the whole tying in of like the elder relationships are back together thing.
They have plenty of other things to tap into, but I feel that what can come after this is just not going to be as good as films. Like, this is the beginning of a deterioration of X-Men movies, I feel, unless they do something that's really fresh and different, and I'm not even sure what they could do. I mean, even Deadpool was, and I felt, a very fun movie, but a very average movie at the same time.
Story-wise, it was very
but then again,
much
it knew that, because it was the humour and the acting of Ryan Reynolds and the humour they had in the film which made that film.
Yeah.
So, other characters now. The one thing I did feel about this film is McAvoy and Fassbender didn't put as good performance in this as they have done previously. They definitely put a lot of character into this, but I don't know. Did you feel that they were almost like, not necessarily phoning it in, but their performances weren't as engaging as they had previously?
I don't know. Magneto, I felt, was still...
You had some good scenes.
Was still pretty high up. But, yeah. again, it's just like it was fun. But I can't think of even
That's what I mean.
even
This
actor-wise,
is exactly
it's like
what I'm on
which
about.
character can you pull out and go, wow, their performance was fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just like
there was nobody but the staff.
it was good.
That is what I mean. That's what I felt. They weren't as good as the film. They were perfectly fine in the film.
Yeah.
But their performances weren't as stellar as they did in the previous two. Again, that's another thing for the movie. It's like, yeah. I mean, there's some of the characters, like, obviously, they had Jean Grey in it and Cyclops, because this had to build into, effectively, the first movie, even though it won't, because it's an alternative version of the first movie. The one thing that got me was Nightcrawler. Why? Why? There was no reason to have Nightcrawler in the film, apart from...
Bamfing in and out of places.
Exactly, they needed someone to bamf.
It was just so we could get from A to B in an easier way.
Exactly, he was a plot convenience. He was a MacGuffin, purely there to have. I mean, because to storyline wise, it didn't make any sense. The fact that they found him later in the line in X2 in the older movies, so he wasn't there in this movie. So he didn't need to be. Unlike Jean Grey and Cyclops, they were at the school at that time. Nightcrawler wasn't. But they put him in there because
he was a fan favourite.
He was a
MacGuffin.
Second one. He was a MacGuffin. He was there because they had elements of the storyline where they needed that
and people
power.
like Nightcrawler. If you like Nightcrawler, he's in the film.
Yeah,
Nightcrawler. That's what it was. Right.
Why did they have Colossus?
Because this isn't modern day. Colossus is not around yet.
Yeah, well, neither was Nightcrawler in the first movie. So
yeah, but this is new timeline. And things have changed somehow.
But yeah, again, he was there as a MacGuffin.
He was.
Quicksilver, we know why he was in the movie, because he was probably the most...
Slow-mo moments!
He was the funniest, most popular character in the second film, so he had to be in the third, and more of him in the movie. It was just the same thing. He was good, he was fun, but yeah, it was just more of the same.
Yeah.
Beast, yeah, he was just there. Just a character in the movie, didn't actually add much. And when there was him and interacting with Mystique, they still had their thing, kind of thing, not thing, which is it's all right. But then even Mystique's character, who you felt like everyone was like, oh look, Mystique, she's like the new leader of the mutants. Everyone follows her, but I was just like, she had some lines. Do you feel if, say, you live in an alternative universe where the Mockingjay, the Hunger Game movies didn't exist, that character that she played would have been Jean Grey?
Yes.
Because that would have worked better towards the big up finish of her fighting Apocalypse at the end. It means that she would have had more of the hero journey. As where it was, I felt that's what should have happened.
Because you could even have it near the end, when everyone's like, but we can't control our powers. You could have it where all the way through the film she was deliberately holding back because she felt the Phoenix inside. But then, because they were having the final moment with the Apocalypse, you could be like, no, release it.
More of a hero journey, but you had total focus off her because it was all focused on Mystique.
Yeah, which you personally think about it,
That is a very, the negativity about the film is that the characters it needed to focus on, there was focus wasn't there, they were just there.
And I personally didn't feel Mystique being a rallying figure in it.
No,
and
I know it's
even though she had her line,
figure, so she was a hero to the people. Gee, I wonder where they got that idea from.
Yes. Why don't we just get Katniss Everdeen, paint her blue, and go? Here you go.
That's the problem. Is that maybe you could actually now we got in the thought process.
Yes. Now we're here.
We can see where the negatives of the film is. One was Quicksilver had to be in this film because he was popped in the second one. He had to be in this one.
Yeah.
Mystique had to be written as Katniss because Katniss is a popular person. So the movie, it's like the executive saying, this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen, and the story pretty much.
Yeah.
It could have been a better story than what we got.
Yes. Yeah. I think yes, there's definite issues with the overall why certain people would in certain positions in the film. My end approach is just it was okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
an okay movie.
Okay. I don't think it was bad, but it wasn't like Civil War. Oh my god. Blew my mind.
So we're talking about the arc of the film. We talked about majority of the main hero characters. I mean, who else was in it? There's also little extra X-Men, like Jubilee's in the film.
Why?
Kind of.
Why put a character who you could definitely tell was Jubilee in the film? All you're going to do is, oh, there she is.
She's in the background.
There she is.
Now, there's the odd thing, is that if they were going to do like background X-Men, it felt like she was there. Now, there may be more. I mean, obviously, once the film reviews come out, people say that's that character, that's that character, that's that character. So we spotted Jubilee, but the rest of the class,
they just all look like kids.
Yeah, just look like kids. So yeah, there didn't seem. Why only have the one when you could have?
Why
put
not
a few
just
in?
have like Bobby in the background? Just like do a little icy.
No,
Iceman.
he was too young. Don't. This is 1983.
Oh, yeah.
X-Men's 1990. So you couldn't have.
Nightcrawler's in it.
Ah, yeah, but he's a lot older in X-Men 2. X2. So no,
Okay.
Nightcrawler works. This is a younger teenage version of Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler in X2 is an adult. So that one works. Oh, there's the one thing. They aged well, didn't they, all the X-Men? Because then they're all 10 years older. I thought, wow, I want to know what they've been using. What exercise and what they've been eating, their greens and everything. Now, Mystique.
X-Men genes.
Mystique,
keeps you young.
yeah. You could say that's the way they explain it in the comics about why superheroes don't age. Mystique is the one. Yeah, that makes sense because she can make herself look younger, older, whatever. Havoc, yes, but considering he was 10 years older, no different.
Havoc.
McAvoy a little bit older, but yeah, 10 years. Yeah. Hardly any change at all.
Magneto does. If you actually look at Magneto's
there's the irony.
clips
The
of...
one that actually looked older was Logan, and he's the one that's not supposed to age.
Yeah, but if you look at Magneto though, if you look at Magneto when he has his little moment in, when everyone's seeing him do his old evil thing at the end of First Class 2, and then you look at him in this film, he does look older.
Yeah.
He looks a little bit older. The main group, he's the one that you can go, look, yes, there has been some time that's passed.
Yeah,
look at him.
It's been 10 years, not 3. Which is like, yeah. Oh yeah, there's the other factor is that there is a death of a character, spoiler, but when you watch the film, you kind of don't care. Not because of the character, because there's no build up to the death, and they're very ambiguous about the death, and that is Havoc.
Yes.
It was just,
they never really
you don't
totally
actually
confirmed,
you
did
don't
they?
see him die. You know, there was a big explosion where everyone is saved by the awesomeness of Quicksilver, except one, which is Havoc, and apparently he was at the centre of the explosion. But you don't actually see him die. And but if he was dead, they would know. But they didn't have a moment where there was a dead body. They had no body to say he was dead. So it was almost like, oh, is he dead or isn't he dead?
I wonder if
you're going to try and kill a character, kill a character.
I think it's more like they were like, oh look, we need to get like a character that was in First Class, Havoc. But what we're going to do, he's very powerful. Get rid of him. Just get rid of him in that scene. It's fine.
I think
the
point was, it was so that Scott Summers' Cyclops had an arc. Kill his brother, so he's more... And exactly. That's what I mean. We didn't care. Because the death, we didn't care. Because it was just such the death was a non-event. Well, it's not, and it wasn't just the fact that the death itself was a non-event. It's because how they dealt with the death. It may have happened, it may have not happened. We couldn't really tell. We just didn't know.
Yeah. And
the fact that Quicksilver managed to save everybody apart from one person.
Because he got there just after the explosion engulfed Havoc.
Wow, that's amazing timing. Yeah, it's just that was the one thing I just felt was a bit weak. Well, there's a few things.
Yeah, because you get like a 5-second of where's my brother? Oh look, there's stuff happening.
Yeah, and if he was dead, I mean, even if you got a confirmation from Jean Grey, if he was dead, I felt Jean Grey would have sensed that he wasn't there, that he was no longer alive, and she could confirm it. But even there was no moment from her, so it's almost like the film has deliberately left it open that he may or may not be dead. But why? There didn't seem to be any reasons why, unless it's an element that sets up a future movie. But you just think.
I personally I know they've set up like this new X-Men group, but at the same time, I feel they're done.
Oh, that's one thing. I did love the shot of the team at the end in pretty much comic perfect costumes.
That was
cool. That was nice. Even Mystique was like, oh yes, that was nice. But yeah, it was a nice little thing at the end. think then. Okay, right. So we've talked about the majority of the hero characters. Most of them are like, okay, it was too much focusing on Mystique,
which wasn't necessary at all.
Well, no, maybe a little. I was now thinking that maybe a little bit because of their connection to Magneto, but you did feel that as far as the last fight goes, it should have been more Jean Grey than her.
But the thing is, you can easily just turn around and go, well, if she is the big Magneto needs to turn good sort of thing, why not have Quicksilver tell Magneto he's a son?
Because that was the original intention before they did the Katniss rewrite. Jean Grey, this is what I feel. Jean Grey was supposed to be more of the heroine arc.
Yeah.
And the emotional moment was obviously like, we know that Magneto early in the film, what turns him early in the film is the death of his family, and finding out that he has family at the end is what turns him back.
Yeah.
But both of those elements were rewritten for Katniss.
Because you even had like the whole setup of him punching Apocalypse and everything, and then Apocalypse grabs him. It's like, well, there you go. You could have that moment there.
Yeah, exactly. It's you could tell.
Yeah.
You could
now
almost
we're
tell
thinking about it.
Where the rewrites happened.
Yeah.
You can tell how the reason why it changed so much because of Katniss being in the movie.
Yeah.
Which again, it makes it suffer somewhat. So we had done the characters. The kind of thing that got visually, the kind of like big events, they're doing it far too much in movies nowadays. They're kind of like big apocalyptic events. I mean, yeah, we know the film's called Apocalypse, but fully exploding cities getting ripped apart in a massive amount of CGI explosions and just, well, not just explosions, but things being disintegrating, ripping apart.
Yes, that's becoming a thing.
It is,
everything just turning into dust and being collected in the
turning
air.
into dust, or turning into blocks, or turning into something else. Yes, that is becoming almost a cinematic trope.
Yes.
And this movie does it again. You're like, and you don't care because you've seen it so many times. This massive amount of CGI. It is the 2012 effect.
I did one thing I will say I did like is that in the trailer you can tell that they got the nukes and they're going to set the nukes off.
Yeah.
And the trailer was like, oh my god, he's going to nuke the planet, and then he just kind of goes, nope.
No.
And just gets rid of them. It's like,
you find the nukes, and why do you find the nukes? To disarm them, to weaken them. That was the reason.
And yeah, kind of like, so, well, I want to take over the planet. I don't want to nuke it.
Yeah.
What's the point in taking over if it's all disirradiated? I'll just get rid of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much everything that needs to be said, I think.
Yeah. Unlike the Batman versus Superman video, I felt that, there wasn't, like, because our views are almost, they're quite on par in this one.
Yeah.
Apart from that one where it was just like, I really actually enjoyed Batman vs Superman.
In a way, Batman vs Superman succeeded more because of it being bad. That the more people were talking about it, as a bad movie, as with this one, I think will not get that as much attention because it's a rather okay movie.
Yeah.
And Civil War being the good, well, opinions obviously.
I personally really like
I know
Civil War.
I already know one person who's already said that XMEN was better than Civil War.
What?
Yeah, well, no, it's opinions.
Yeah.
I mean, if
everyone looks
you
at
think of
things
someone who
different
was a big X-Men fan, finally seeing some of their favourite characters of from the X-Men, like Psylocke.
Yes, I know Psylocke was the one that I've heard a lot of people go, oh my god, Psylocke's in this!
The only problem is that here's a trend I've noticed in the last few X-Men movies. The original X-Men might get the focus, but all the poor X-Men from the 90s are almost like background, like Psylocke in this one, Bishop and Warpath in the second one. They're just there just to be. Yeah. There's that character, Jubilee, in this movie.
That is one thing that has bugged me about this film is.
Even though Jubilee technically is an 80s character.
What's the point in having the Jubilee? Like, the fact that she was the only one in the school that was clearly a character, unless people do find out that there are others in there that dress like their characters.
X-Men, just saying.
Someone else that dressed like their character. Like, Jubilee was clearly a character. And yet, all they did was, like, she had one line here, one line there, and she wasn't there in it again. It's like, you have a character there, use her.
Yeah, it's like in one scene when they all get knocked out, and they capture some of the important ones. I love her, take that one, take that one, take that one. What about this one called Jubilee? Oh no, we have no idea who she is, so...
we don't care.
We don't care.
We'll just fly up with these
Just
people.
leave it there, whatever.
It's fine. Oh yeah, and we'll have magical green lights that stop all powers.
Oh, you mean
We'll kryptonite them all.
in the cage, the kryptonite cage?
We'll kryptonite them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was one problem is that they had to have the MacGuffin is that Nightcrawler can't bamf if he's surrounded by electricity.
Faraday cage somehow stops teleporting.
How?
I don't know how his teleporting power works.
They needed the teleport power as a MacGuffin, but had to time stop it, so it stopped because...
Electricity.
Because?
Yeah.
Because the plot dictates. Just what, bit weak.
Yeah.
But not bad. Okay, so as a final review, we found it a very average movie, but say, let's start ranking movies that we've seen. What would you rank it out of 10?
Out of 10?
If you think Batman vs Superman would be...
Personally, for me, it's about a 6.
Yeah. I'd say about 6. Average. Pretty much.
6.
It's a perfectly enjoyable, watchable action movie.
Yeah, I don't know whether...
Didn't really
Because
suffer
if I'm off the top of my head giving Batman vs Superman 6, I don't know whether to give this the same
Batman
6. Yeah, the Batman vs Superman, for me personally, I thought it was a 6.
4.
Well, I know you don't like it. I gave my views in the other video. I personally did really enjoy it.
Yeah.
To me, Batman vs Superman had
Okay,
So...
Rate this movie.
Okay, I'll give it a 6 as well.
A 6?
But...
Yeah.
Because it didn't do anything wrong.
Captain America,
8, 9.
That's an 8. Batman, I would say there's about 4. So yeah, again, middle road, so this is a 6.
Yeah.
And
a 6.
And pretty much everything I think I pretty much said everything I thought about the movie.
Yes. Yeah, I feel that we pretty much give our views that, yeah, it's average, fun.
Good fun movie. And
there's a few things they could have changed, but overall, I don't feel it was bad.
Suffered because of the executive wanting to change things. You could definitely feel that was going on, but the movie did not suffer too much because of it.
No. So yeah, that's our views. Like the video if you like it. Leave a comment. Possibly subscribe. And until the next one, I'll see you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.